Hello, everybody. Oh. Maybe you can mute yours. Yeah, I don't think you've been interfered. Yes, I'm trying to adjust my camera. I think I'll bring my slides up. I have that broken one. Was Felicia talking?
There was some stuff
Okay.
Talking about them. I do have a second screen so I can see.
But why you're not seeing the slides? I'll share them. I'll share my screen. So this is how it will work. No, it will be okay. This is how it should be.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you still see me? Can you still see my face? Okay. But first, actually, I will share the other screen. Can you see my... What screen are you seeing now? Still the robot?
Still the robot.
Okay, let me just share it. I want to share this one. So which one do you see now?
Poster.
Fantastic. Oh, no, wrong. What I did. Oh, that's what I did. You still see the poster?
Mm-hmm.
I will stop sharing now so I can let them take over. Okay.
Maxwell, please, you will see some people downstairs. Bring them. I don't need water here. I don't need water here. See, she engineers link. The mail. Majesty, I love to worship you. No vex. Okay. No.
Na shiga. Maimuna ne sunanta? An ce the instruction is online. Oya, sign in, please. Who is signing? Sign in with your laptop, ma. Ni laptop dina abin nan din ya volume din ya mutu just this morning. Zan iya laptop din ina zuwa online. To dan Allah zan iya can I use it for Zoom?
Amina ki muting din phone ɗinki. Muna jin hiranki.
Na yi meeting.
We can use one system now for the training.
Let's use yours then, because my own just this year the day discovering bar volume, but it's online everything. I can connect it. But don't go kids to say I'll come and I'm already online now. So say we sell at care alwala. Okay. Yes, I'm getting this competition. See, now me, I'm already online.
Amina, har yanzu dai baki rufe abin nan ɗinki ba. Ki sa shi a mute.
I think that I will have to.
No, see now.
I think that I'll have to end this meeting and start again. I don't know what's going on.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're all welcome to the She Engineers STEM Teachers Training for Engineers, which is sponsored by Royal Academy of Engineering UK in collaboration with Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria. We'll soon start while we have every other thing we need to have in place. I hope all other locations are also ready for today's event. Dr. Evie Visa, thank you for being online. Thank you for your time and support as we go into this program. Thank you all. I'm starting. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. You're all welcome to the She Engineers STEM Teachers Training for Engineers a project sponsored by Royal Academy of Engineering UK in collaboration with Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria. It's day one of the 2-day workshop training and will be starting now. I'd like to establish a few protocols before we start. Would also share the agenda for the training workshop. The President and Chairman in Council, Nigerian Society of Engineers, the President's Association of Professional Women Engineers, Engineer Funlola Ojelade, FNSC, Fellows of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, founders and past presidents of Association of Professional Women Engineers, National ESCO members, chapter chairmen, members, gentlemen of the press and friends, you're welcome to this meeting. Would like also to acknowledge and welcome our workshop facilitator and project director with the Royal Academy of Engineers UK, Dr. Evie Visa. Thank you for your support. We'll start this program with the national anthem. We'll sing the first stanzas of the national anthem, and the second stanzas will be recited as our opening prayer. Thank you. I think we're having technical issues with the volume. Since it's national and I think we can all be unmuted while we sing the national anthem for stanza. Please can the technical support team unmute everyone so we'll sing the national anthem together. Shall we take the second stanza as our opening prayer? O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right.
Help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Before I call on our president for the welcome address by the President of Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, I'd like to acknowledge our founding members that are online. Thank you for joining us. In no particular order, I'd like to recognize Engineer Fumilayo Kadri, FNSC. Thank you for being part of this program.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma. So I would like to invite our president, Engineer Fumilola Ojelade, FNSC. I call her the #1 female engineering citizen in Nigeria, as she gives us our welcome address to the STEM Teachers Workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Bosede. Just a minute, I'll get across to you. We're trying to sort the echo. Yeah. The President, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Babagana Mohammed, FNSC. Our facilitator for this workshop, Dr. A.B. Visa from the University of West of Scotland, our technical partners for this event. Distinguished founders of our great association. Past presidents of APWEN here present. Executive committee members of APWEN. Our chapter chairman. Gentlemen of the press. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this very great event, which takes APWEN's age-long educational program to another level. APWEN, as you know, is an educational and service organization, and the first mission in achieving the vision of our association is to increase awareness that engineering is a career for girls also, thereby increasing the number of girls that choose engineering as a career. Our mostly used methodology for achieving this mission is through career talks to secondary schools and competitions to identify girls with engineering aptitude. We then incentivize these girls to study engineering through the award of scholarships. Over the years, however, we have observed that a major obstacle to girls opting to study engineering is their dislike for STEM subjects. This dislike has been traced to the methods used in teaching STEM subjects in schools. At various times, APWEN has offered STEM teachers training as part of our other programs, but this has been few and far between. For example, our annual 3-day technical bootcamp for girls ages 12 to 14 has a STEM teachers training session as part of the event. A few other times also, we have had STEM teachers training. This program, however, comes as our first attempt at a deliberate and focused effort to train STEM teachers en masse and across the entire federation, covering all 6 geopolitical zones at a go. This is why I'm so excited about this program. So today, we have selected 60 trainers from all over the Federation, consisting mostly of APWEN members from all chapters and some STEM teachers. These trainers will be trained today by our facilitator from the University of West of Scotland, Dr. A.B. Visa. They will then return to their localities and train other STEM teachers with knowledge that they acquired today. We envisage that after this exercise, we would be able to train over 200 teachers with the methods they can deploy to effectively train, to effectively teach STEM subjects in schools. I want to congratulate the professional science teachers who have been included in this program. APWEN has presented you with an opportunity of a lifetime. Please take it very seriously, absorb everything like a sponge, and go out there and make the difference. Finally, this program is a project under our She Engineer Invent It Build It program. That is the program that APWEN is executing with a grant from the Royal Academy of Engineering in the UK under their Global Challenges Research Fund, that is the GCRF Africa Catalyst Program. On this note, I would like to invite the She Engineer Project Director, who is also the awardee of the grants, Engineer Dr. Felicia Nnenna Agubata, FNSC, to present the concept notes of this program. Dr. Agubata, please.
Thank you so much, my president. Good afternoon. The president of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, Engineer Fumilola Ojelade, the digital president of our times. Thank you so much, Ma, for the decisive leadership, for the great leadership you have provided for all of us in APWEN. As of today, we have 3 first female chairmen of our great society, Nigerian Society of Engineers, being elected during just concluded AGM in their various locations. Congratulations, ma'am. Our founder, one of the 6 courageous women that founded our great association 37 years ago, Engineer Olufunlayo Kadiri, FNSC. Our facilitator and our partner, Dr. Evie Visa of University of West of Scotland. All branch chairmen here present. Our distinguished vice president of our great association, Engineer Elizabeth Eterigo, FNSC. Our media partners, the husband of our facilitator, Tom Cadell, you are highly welcome. Thank you for being there for us. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to specially thank you all for coming. Today marks another milestone in the history of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, APWEN, as we hold our first STEM teachers training for engineers, tag Train the Trainers. This is the first of its kind, as APWEN is on a mission to close the gender gap in engineering and to change the image of what an engineer looks like and does. As we also continue on our program, while engineering should be a woman's game, project tagged She Engineer, which happens to be a capacity building program under the remit of the Royal Academy of Engineering UK, a delivery partner for the Global Challenges Research Fund, GCRF. I also count it a great privilege to be an awardee of this prestigious grant. Engineering is the most male-dominated field in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It may perhaps be the most male-dominated profession in Nigeria, with women making only 13% of the engineering workforce. This is as revealed by a research carried out in 2019. When it comes to study of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects at schools, male and female are virtually at par in terms of performance. Unfortunately, this parity doesn't always carry over onto the professional world, thus leading to a significant gender gap in the science and technology workforce. I would say that female students shouldn't rule out engineering. For me, personally, I chose engineering because I love mathematics and sciences, and engineering holds real opportunities to change the world because we make everything from bridges to engines, IT systems to cosmetics. Besides, I think women bring critical insights and game-changing perspectives to the table. Equal representation especially is important in engineering, as engineers design products and solve problems that affect humanity. Imagine the greater advances that could occur in engineering if men and women are working consistently together and using all the skill sets in the pool. You can agree with me that as of yesterday, APWEN has promised the first female chairman of Nigerian Institution of Highway Engineers. That's the first of its kind. A female, we can do better. We just started. The sky is definitely our starting point. Important as it is to investigate what deters young women from pursuing STEM careers, we should also take a closer look at how we can encourage secondary school girls to follow their dreams and flares with regards to the sciences. This will introduce a broader range of knowledge and ideas when developing STEM innovations. This will definitely help girls overcome perceived gender role barriers. This STEM teachers training for engineers is a capacity building workshop for female engineers to enable them build capacity towards the training of STEM teachers across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria using science and fun-based experiments with everyday materials, things we can see, things we can feel. We decided this with the fun fair workshop we did last week with our families, to bond with families. This is just an extension of it. This now concerns only the individual specific. Last week, we were able to bond with our families. Let our children know what we do. When we say we're going to APWEN programs, and I'm happy that most of the children loved the program. I must congratulate the president for this and Dr. Evie Visa for making it possible. Thank you so much, Dr. Evie, and thank you so much, my little president, for making this possible. Our aim is to encourage girls to enter and stay in STEM. Our aim is to encourage girls to enter and stay in STEM careers through this project. And our areas of focus are: 1, we want to start young. Given the pervasive nature of such stereotypes, parents and teachers should step in and shield girls from believing that they are less intellectually capable and therefore less suited for STEM careers. We also need to build up stereotypes can be challenged by exposing children to examples of women who have succeeded in STEM. When we look at our 6 courageous women, as an example for all of us, we know what she's doing in BES, PESCOM committee, Engineer Fulaya Kadri. We know all the first we have. When we showcase them, of course, we showcase them during the National Women Engineering Day. You look at the first female that is going to sign the Nigerian note in future. I'm telling you, I'm prophesizing this in the next 10 years. Our president we're going to have her signature on that note. We're going to have, that's what we're working towards now. Presently, we have females who have done first. We have the first female, the nanotechnology technologies, who is very, very good in that. Expert, that's Yunusa, Engineer Yunusa. We have the first. Look at what is happening on in Lagos State. These are our women. If you look at the roads in Lagos State, everybody will confirm and ascertain that Engineer Aramide is a game changer, that they've actually changed the game in Lagos State in terms of road construction. You can also tell me that somebody like Engineer Mayana Detiba, being the first female president of Association of Consulting Engineers in Nigeria, and that of Gamma of FIDIC, it gives us joy. And for our Mama APWEN, the first president and the founding president of the association, who happens to be the first female registered engineer in Nigeria. These are women, these are our female engineers. So the sky is actually the starting point for female engineers, not just in Nigeria, but globally. We're also looking at redesigning our education system. We need to encourage female students in secondary school by calling on them in class, that's the mentoring, motivating them, taking their questions seriously, and making sure that they see the possibilities in STEM careers. There are lesson plans available to address this issue, introduce policy and incentives for women who want to join a STEM career. This we're already doing through several measures in APWEN. You can also collect data and expose gender gap. Government and institutions should monitor gender gaps closely and highlight differences in experiences of women and men working in STEM careers, such as a relative pay, working conditions, access to research funds, etc. The last but not the least, find creative ways to encourage STEM and promote awareness. Educational institutions, governments, corporate bodies, our society at large, and we want to dispel these stereotypes that discourage female from joining STEM careers. One of the best ways of doing it is by dedicating resources to creating an environment and nurturing and supporting STEM education. And one of them is this STEM teachers training for engineers, where we build capacity for our members to be able to go back to their chapters and train STEM teachers in that way. The She Engineer Invent Build It program is a program for female engineers and public secondary school pupils in JSS 1 and JSS 2. Activities include advocacy and service delivery, among which are one is what we are doing today, the Train the Trainers workshop for 60 female engineers from all APWEN chapters, which is being facilitated by our UK partner, University of West of Scotland, in collaboration with the Institute of Engineering and Technology, United Kingdom. And we also have our sponsors, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, and Energy Training Center. The workshop will build capacity on how to effectively train STEM teachers. These female teachers will now build capacity in mentoring junior secondary school students in STEM. Secondly, these female engineers are expected to return to their chapter to share knowledge with their fellow engineers and also train a minimum of 200 STEM teachers in secondary school across the disability zones in Nigeria. Invent Build It Challenge, that's the third one, for 500 pupils in public schools with engineering kits. And we're also going to have something what we call the prize giving day. This was actually scheduled to hold on 27th of May, 2020, but because of the pandemic, we've shifted it. We have to await the reopening of schools before we can have this particular part. We're also supposed to celebrate National Women in Engineering Day, which was held on the 3rd of June 2020, and it was a success. Presently, we're also developing a diversity and inclusion policy, the first of its kind for APWEN. And this is already work in progress. We have the chairman of the committee, Engineer Mrs. Idiat Amutu, FNSC, who happens to be the first female agricultural engineer in Nigeria. She's seconded by Engineer Dr. Patricia Penne Ode, the FNSC, the contract and logistics manager of ExxonMobil International. I'd like to thank our partners, our sponsors, and all who are here this afternoon. Let me hasten to say here that the task of nation building requires the selflessness of all, and She Engineer is a call to closing the gender gap in STEM. Since APWEN and Royal Academy of Engineering, along with the University of West of Scotland, cannot do it alone, we solicit the support of all and sundry, the government, philanthropists, corporate organizations, and well-meaning individuals to assist us in our bold steps of producing more female engineers. We're already making inroads, a lot of first female here, a lot of first female there. We are going to make a lot of first female NSC presidents in Nigeria. That's the next task. And we are capable. By the time what we are having to do in council now we're having more voices, more female voices in council. We hope that by next year we're going to have even more. I thank you all for coming. God bless APWEN. God bless Royal Academy of Engineering. God bless University of West of Scotland. God bless Institute of Electrical and Engineering in UK. God bless ETC. God bless NSC. God bless Koren. And God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Felicia Unena Abubata, FNSC. It's always interesting to hear you when you deliver the concept note for this project. You usually deliver it with so much passion that shows that behind this project, there is an energy that cannot be quenched. Hence, we know that this project and every other thing embedded in it will be successful. And in future, which is even now, we'll start seeing the dividend of such an investment. Thank you very much for giving us another insight into this aspect of this project. Once again, I would like to join my voice with you and also appreciate our sponsors, the Council of Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, the Energy Training Center, our own Nigerian Society of Engineers, the University of West Scotland, Institution of Engineering and Technology. Thank you for creating this environment, this initiative that will replicate more STEM teachers across our nation in Nigeria. Without taking much of our time, I'd like to go to the next item on the agenda. It's quite humbling and very privileged to be bringing on board our facilitator for this workshop once again. I'm not tired of reading our profile because every time I do that, even while we're not having a program, I've had to go over it again. And that brief profile is concise, it's apt, and shows what a STEM woman needs to be. The profile of Dr. Evie Visa. Dr. Evie Visa, allow me to remove this. Is the program leader for, is the program leader for accredited postgraduate degrees of quality management and project management in the University of West Scotland. She is a mechanical and manufacturing engineer with focus on quality management. She has experience of multidisciplinary research projects, and she has led a number of projects such as building manufacturing capacity for craft women in Uganda, making engineering a family affair. For women, a car for women and other stories. Gigi Gap for craft women in Kenya, to name some. She is Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, a chartered quality professional, and a member of the Institute of Engineering and Technology, as well as a fellow of the Royal Society of Art. Join me to welcome our workshop facilitator, Dr. Evie Visa. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry, I went the wrong way. Thank you, Madam President. Do you have your microphone muted? Okay. I don't know why the echo.
Doctor.
Yes.
I think you have other devices around you. Just like me now.
Okay, let me. I think the echo is usually happen if there are two laptops close to each
Yes.
other or two devices, and
That is it.
solve. Yeah. Just as well, we are all engineers and we can solve our own technical issues. This is very. So thank you everybody for inviting me, first of all, and I would like to thank the Madam President Funmilola. I had to write the name down because I'm struggling with the beautiful African names. Thank you for the thank you for the work you are doing, first of all, and for taking the time to be here. And thank you to Positi that introduced me. And you know, a big thank you go to Felicia, who's the person that I work more close with for this project. And the one thing I have to say, I agree with all the notes that she made about the gender gap and the lack of inclusion in the engineering fields. I work in quite a few projects throughout my career with a number of people, but this is a testament to your work that you are all doing. I have never seen as much passion and drive as I have seen in African women. You know, it's every person that I met, it has truly inspired me. So thank you for doing what you're doing, you know, in a place that it's needed a lot. And I will echo Felicia's comments that women, girls, they're not only as smart as the boys, most of the time, who are smarter. And apart from the system not fostering and not nurturing our talents, sometimes it's our lack of confidence that keeps us back. And so for me, having, you know, a workshop like the one today, the one last week, but especially the one today, what I was thinking, it's really funny that we have over 60 female engineers and one male, and that's my husband, and he's my assistant here with us today. It's like, usually it's the other way around. So I find that very refreshing. So what I'm going to do, I have prepared a few slides. One includes my profile, which I forgot that I've been introduced. About what we are going to do today, I'm going to share my screen. I think this one. Bear with me. Can you all see my screen? Yes? Can you see my screen? Good, fantastic. So this is what we are doing today, and it's part of the project that Felicia is leading with all the collaborators that are mentioned. APWEN, which is, if I could, I will sign up to be a member of this organization. I'm very proud that I work with you. And talking about projects, I would love to research the history of some of the names that Felicia and the other speakers mentioned, because sometimes we need these role models. There is a saying that girls cannot become what they cannot see. So I think it would be great to make, you know, to demonstrate and showcase the work of the previous women engineers of the organization, and, you know, across Nigeria and the African continent, because the work is there, but as usually, because, you know, it's still a man's world out there. I see from buildings, from road names, from engineering inventions, usually it's the men that they're putting forward. Last week, I was, when I was talking to the families, I was telling them within this context, female engineers have done fantastic inventions, and we have to dig and excavate them to find them. From the radar, you know, that was used during the war, the first car for female, it was invented by a woman, manufactured by the woman. From the dishwasher, the fridge, the wipers, the car wipers. And I was telling the story that it was a woman, it was an Australian woman, and it was like, I think, 1920s, and she noticed it was a very snowy day that the drivers couldn't see because of the snow. And she came up with the idea of the car wipers that we have as a given today. And when she took it to a manufacturing company, the response that she got was like, that's a stupid idea. It will distract the drivers. And this sounds very silly and funny today, but that was the reality. What the woman says, you know, it's not valid. Sometimes they dismiss it without thinking about that. And I know that throughout your career, you would have many things explained to you, you know, by men because they know better. Sometimes it's the things that you do every day. Sometimes they maybe even explain you how to do your work. So for me, it's fantastic, you know, and I have to say it's the first workshop that I have so many female engineers, and that's very, very exciting. To go to the next one, I believe you have some of your kids with you. Today we'll work as a team on the solar robot. And this is a bit of renewables energy, obviously, because of the solar panel. And my background, as it was mentioned by Oside, it's manufacturing engineering. So it has the operations part and it has a little bit of the cellular manufacturing. And I'll explain more how it will work today. That's my profile, but I think it was covered already, so I will pass that very quickly. Just minimize my screen. I thought I would learn a little bit about you, but I understand that you know, we want to have enough time to do our workshop. So I would really, really appreciate it if you either send me a connection on LinkedIn or you put something in the chat box about you. You know, I want to know your background, so it's not a one-way communication. And I want to know, you know, what inspired you to become engineer, and hopefully what you expect to learn from today. I had this definition. It was from, I was explaining engineering to the families last week, and I expect to find, you know, different expertise across the participants today, because engineering, it encompasses so much. I think when I was studying, it was mechanical, electrical, civil engineering, and, you know, chemical. And today we have over 200, you know, different fields. There is ocean engineering, water engineering, biomedical, bioethics. There's so many fields. And that's the beauty of engineering. You know, whatever your skills are, you'll find something that suits your passions. And engineering is about solving problems. And that's why it's such a nice fit for women, because we want to solve problems. We want to make the world a better place. I understand many of you will be doing STEM engagement, and I said that's very, very exciting. As I was saying to the participants, and as I say in my every public engagement session, science and engineering, it's really everywhere. You know, sometimes, especially parents that they don't have a scientific background, they feel intimidated to talk to the kids about, you know, the engineering, without sometimes realizing that we all do it, you know, we can't avoid it. The kids riding a bike, engineering, physics, there are action and reaction and, you know, all the physics principles. Lego or any kind of like brick building, it's manufacturing, it's construction, it's you know, so many different types of engineering. Cooking and baking a cake, I was explaining that it has metrology, it has chemical, it has operations management, you know, the everyday things, the fact that I'm sitting on my chair and I don't go through the chair, you know, that is a part of engineering. The fact that, you know, and the science that it's around us, the fact that we can walk on Earth but people fly on space, that's again, it's science behind it. And our duty is to make the kids and the next generation, you know, see this science and start wondering why the things that we have as a given are happening, what it is behind, and how can we make our lives and our world better. STEM engagement, I was trying to find a definition to put in context what we're doing today. It's very popular, at least in Scotland, the UK, that I've been living the last few years. It's the science communication. And ironically, and I don't think this will surprise you, female STEM professionals are better at that than male. And usually it's this two-way approach. We're talking about our job, our science, and then we're hearing back. We're using storytelling in some sessions here, which is quite a different way. We're using experiments as we did last week. And as I said, sometimes it's not the complicated, the sophisticated devices. It's, you know, taking a cardboard box and making something out of it. Last week we made an air-fueled car out of, you know, wasted materials in a sense. But we need, you know, this engagement because it's still a male-dominated profession, and we want to break this stereotype. So why you need it? And apart from the fact that what the previous speakers mentioned, and particularly Felicia, we need it because there is a gender gap. We need it because there are many engineering jobs that they will be unfulfilled, and in every country that will hurt the economy. So what STEM education does, it creates critical thinkers, the science literacy, so people know more about the science, and of course the next generation of innovators. The children have curiosity, you know, in them as they grow up. It's sometimes our system, sometimes the education, sometimes the lack of education or other priorities take this curiosity out of them, and then we try to put it back and make them, you know, ask questions, make wonder about the universe. I have some interesting links that as STEM communicators, they may be useful for you. And I will share actually what I can do while you're working on your little solar robot. I'm going to copy these links on the chat box so they will be available for you. And I'm quite happy for the slides to be sent to you after the event. So it gives you a lot of workshop ideas, videos. And third one, which is the Royal Academy one, it has a directory of other STEM organizations. So it's something that it will be very, very useful. So what we're going to do now, I will stop sharing my screen. We're going to build one of the versions of the solar robot. And if you have the box in front of you, it's the last one, and you'll see the final product. Once we finish, we build one format of the robot. You can try, you know, if you have enough time during the workshop or afterwards, to modify it and have the different versions of the robot, because I see here there is the one with the wheel, and there are 6 different versions. So you can, you know, you can take this further. What are we going to do? Because it's quite a big group of us today. I have another screen, another slide that I'm going to be sharing, and we will be going all together, step by step. So I've got my helper here. I will be going over the slides and make sure you are all doing okay, which I know you will, and everybody's going with the same pace. And Tom here will be building the robot along with you to make sure that what I'm saying and my instructions, they make sense. Because you know how men are, they don't listen. So I want to make sure that, you know, he listens and he does what he's being told. So I'll stop this slide and I hope we're all ready to go. And I do hope nobody opened the box yet. Okay, thank you. I'll stop sharing my slides and I'll swap to my other presentation. Is there anything, I don't see if there is anything on the chat. If there's anything you want to ask me, you know, feel free if one is working. The idea is to be a team. It's a team experience. It doesn't mean that one or two people cannot do it themselves, but sometimes engineering is not about the technical skills. It's about the soft skills. It's how we work as a team, is how we listen, how we follow orders, how we give orders. So this is, as I said, it's a really good example of operations management and a little bit of cellular manufacturing. So we will put this in practice. So bear with me to open other presentation and I'll start sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? Fantastic. So this should be the box you have in front of you. One of them. We will do the solar robot today, and we will do the little tin robot that you probably have, and the doodling one tomorrow afternoon in the other workshop. Tomorrow or tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, I believe. I apologize for the photo, it's not the best. The one that we will be doing today, it's the last one. It's the last version with a little wheel. So the first step we'll be doing is like opening the box and make sure that you have all the correct contents, because you know sometimes although the companies do quality control, instructions may be missing, parts may be missing, you know, and sometimes it's this one missing screw in a little, you know, project that can make all the difference. So you should have bags with blue and white parts, the instruction, and the other is the after service a card in case that you need it. And as I said, the one we're doing, it's the last little photo on the front of the box. Okay. I should have mentioned, I think it's the next one. Just go here. We will need cutters for today. And I should mention that for tomorrow, we will need one AA battery and a small screwdriver. These are the parts that I was planning to bring with me when I was coming, but given the circumstances and what 2020 brought us, this is our plan B version. So cutters will work the best because the plastic is quite hard, and some of the parts we need to make sure we don't damage them, especially the ones around the cables. But I think if you have some really, really good scissors, they will do the trick as well. So ideally, you open your box, you have all the parts inside. The next thing we do, we open the bags and we make sure that nothing is missing for the cases. So you should have 2 blue frames and 2 white frames, and the little bag with the motor and the solar panel. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing my screen to make sure, because I cannot see you and it's like I'm talking to myself, that everybody is going together. Okay, bear with me for a moment. Okay, so we're all on the same page in a sense, yes? Trying to make that bigger. Sorry for the coffee. Yes. Okay, so, okay, I'll try and keep an eye on the chat.
Yeah, doing that.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll continue then, yes? You can still see my screen, yes? Okay, from the current slide. Let me minimize. So we're on this stage, still early days. We said you have two blue frames with little parts. So we can start with the one that it shows like the one on the image, really. I don't know how to name them. I think they do have names, and that's there is a bag A. So you take it out of the box, okay? The cutter or the scissors, and as I said, the parts are quite, I cannot find a more appropriate word than fiddly. So be careful that when you cut them, you cut the right parts. And as I can say, it's very good that women have an attention to detail and they follow manuals and instructions. I know that we start taking the parts out of the frame where the little connections are. Okay. So I'll wait for you to go through that. What's left behind, it will be something like that. I'll go with the pace that Tom goes. You heard he said slowly. At this version of robot that we're doing, we will not use all the parts, but it's good that we have them already set for when working on the different formats. And we will be doing the one with the wheel. Now, ironically, it's not very sunny in Scotland today. It's never very sunny in Scotland, and that's a full stop. At the end, I'll show you a video how the robot's supposed to go and it's operational. And the day that we tried it, it was cloudy. So we went and rechecked all the connections and all the, the construction. And because we thought it was bright, but it wasn't, super sunny, we thought it wasn't working. But apparently it needs to be directly under sunlight for the wheel to start spinning. And I think you're in the right country for that. Interesting enough, I'm trying to fill in the gap now because I cannot hear you and you can hear me. I was researching some information about renewables, and many of the African countries, they have a very good percentage of how much of the energy they need is coming from renewables. And I think for Nigeria, it's close to 78%, which is quite impressive. Of course, that means, that many countries, they use renewable across the African continent, but it only shows that as a percentage of the actually energy they need, because here or in some countries, people go around with 5 devices. So not everybody, in its country has so many electrical devices. So it comes as a percentage of the demand. So we're all on this stage, yes? Okay, I will go on the next. Okay, next step. I'm sorry, I cannot hear you very well. Okay, whatever we did with the first part, Tom is putting the parts that he took apart in a little bag, or you can put it in a container or aside to make sure that they're not mixed with each other. So we're moving on the next frame, and we remove using the cutters the rest of the parts. You can see here there are some a little bit smaller, and they need a little bit more care. That's it. I have the right demographic for doing that. Can you start cutting?
Okay.
Yes. So same idea. We start cutting, and what we should have, it would be these parts. And we will use some of that. Don't know if you can see my mouse. This part will be part of the wheel for the format of the robot that we're doing. Okay.
There is one small dot. It's the only one missing. I think so. Yes, it is.
Can you see me okay and you can hear me okay? Yes, we're all going with the same pace. I understand that some will be a little bit faster and some, like Tom, will be a little bit slower, but the point is to make it correctly. I'm delivering training during normal times, not during the pandemic, in a company that they make big generators. You know that electricity generators, they're big like houses and air conditioning units. And we're telling me that sometimes, you know, that when they build things, and of course it doesn't have 10 components, it has like 10,000 components. When they're asking things, you know, they put it all together and something doesn't work because a little screw is somewhere missing, or, you know, some connection in this huge equipment is not done appropriately. So it's a nightmare to reverse engineer and try to find the fault when you have over 10,000 parts. Okay, I think we found who was the root cause of this noise. So let me just, I know the first few stages are a little bit, I don't want to say boring. Okay, sorry, Tom may have missed something. So you should have,
very small part.
you're muted, aren't you? Okay, sorry, Tom is saying that in the frame, let me just, actually, it's here, which part? Let me see. Okay, I'll put this, and it's this dot here. Oh, it's this dot here.
Yes.
So this is a part you have to cut apparently. Do you see where my mouse is? Can you see?
For number 2. So
if there is a number 2 somewhere, because I cannot see the numbers very clear. You see this little dot? But my mouse is, so do not throw the frames that the parts are sitting away yet. So is this little thing that it looks like it's part of the frame, it's actually a component. Okay. Ooh, okay, let me just see if there is information on the chat. So just go and check your frame, what's left over, and make sure this little dot here has been removed because we will need it. So that's the parts that you should have taken out. And you can see this little dot here that looks like, you know, it doesn't look much really. So we finished both blue frames and we're going to do the similar in the white ones. So there is information at the end, but retrospectively, I should have put it at the beginning. Each blue frame, the parts that you take out, make sure you put them in the little area in your workspace that they're separate. So Tom here is using small plastic bags. You can use small containers or just make sure they are sitting neatly away from each other so they are not mixed together. So essentially what we are doing in this preparation phase, you can start cutting with the cutters, thank you. We're taking the parts that we need, but we're trying not to mix them together because each frame and each grouping, it has its purpose. So it's like in factories, they would have the different components, or I'm assuming you use in a garage, the different screws, the different washers, the different, diameters of screws and, the different types, they would be grouped together because this way it's easier for us to find what we need. And actually this is part of a continuous improvement system that's called Lean. So Lean is about, make as much preparation before and have a tidy working environment and visual aids to make our work easier. An example of this kind of approach, which we're using very, very simplistically. Is everybody okay? Once you finish the cutting, I will stop sharing my screen and I will check the chat box because I cannot see at this stage. What I was saying, what we're doing and we're separating and we're, keeping them together, grouping them together. It's, sorry, somebody raised their hand. It's in Formula One when a car stops and we have all the different teams to go there. Okay, let me just see in the chat what's happening, and somebody there raised their hand. So is everybody okay? Yes? I cannot see the person that raised their hand. I just don't want somebody to feel they're left behind. Okay, we'll resume our progress. So we cut the blue frames, we start cutting the white frame, so you know what the remaining. Current slide. Sharing my screen again. So what's it left? It's these 4 parts. I said Tom is putting them in different bags. I said you can keep them in different areas. There are 4, aren't they? I know how to count. Or in small plates or bowls, as long as you know what came from its plastic frame. Next one, no surprises there. Now this one, you can see there are some little white things here, the little dotty things. So same idea, we're using the cutters, very careful we don't break off a part of the parts. I can see it's the casing of the solar panel here. and also the casing of the gearbox on this part, and the little hands of our robot. You can see some of the parts are smaller, so it maybe take a little bit more time than the previous ones. The last white frame has only 4 parts. This has at least twice this number. On the plus side, after that, a little bit more exciting things will start.
All right. So let's arrange them.
Sorry, I'm just telling my husband to hurry up because I'm suspecting you're faster than him. The good thing is, if you're doing that in, in groups, one would make sure that everything is like, it's no rough parts of plastic. You should, one maybe should group them together, or one should make sure that what it's cut, it's matching with what's on the screen. So we don't leave things there, or we say Tom has moved in these round things. I don't know how to describe them, which they need a little bit smaller hands. Now the beauty of this, because I understand many of you will be using it for STEM experiments. If you keep the parts, as said, in different containers, whatever these containers will make it easier for you if at some point you have to re-engineer certain parts, you have to take certain parts apart and modify them to build the different versions of the robot. So what it should be left with, it's something like that, in a different order, obviously. So we have the casing of the gearbox, which is this thing, these two white parts, the casing of the solar panel, which is the round, the arms, what will go inside the gearbox, and this, I don't know how to describe them, these little dot things. This will be attached on the to make the head or the solar panel will go on this one. So do we all have these 3, 6, 9, 10, 16 parts, with some being very, very small? So to keep them, either in a different work surface without them mixing with each other. Now, this is the part that it needs a little bit more attention, because you will know the connections are very, I don't want to say flimsy, but it's quite easy. Make sure that they're connected, properly, because I think we had a box that the connection was cut, and we couldn't do anything for it. I think we tried to put some tape. So this is the solar panel. So if you open the back, you should have these components inside. It's the motor, which is the motor with the cables coming out. Okay. You have the axis and the gears that they will be spinning. The solar panel should have a sticker on top, so I would say leave it there for the time being. It isn't it? And these little white things, it's actually 2 double-sided stickers. So what we're going to do, we're going to use, we're going to stick them down once we build the base for the gearbox. Take only one sticky or one cover at the side. Okay, so we have done all the cutting, and you should have, you know, something like that. As said, you don't have to use bags. You can use plates. You can use bowls. You don't have to use anything else, long as they have, you know, some distance from its grouping. It's a little part of our cellular manufacturing in a sense. So we don't lose the small parts and we don't mix them with each other. You can see here, to make it easier for us, we named its bag. So we have A, although it's not very clear here, B, C, and D. We can give them full names, you can give them numbers, it doesn't really matter. As long as you know what we name A, if you name it 1, we're talking about the same thing. And we use P for the solar panel to match with the instructions in the booklet that you have. Okay. Okay, next one. Now, for this one, we have the backup plan of the instructions booklet. The fonts are quite small for my screen, so I think it will be easier to see it from the booklet in front of you. To do the gearbox assembly, please open up in page 3. That we need the solar panel, which is quite different than the rest of the components. And we also need what we have named here, bag D. And it's quite easy to find it in the bowl or the plate or your area, because it's the casing of the gearbox and it's the casing for where the solar panel will go. Okay. So we'll be doing, as I said, we will follow the gearbox assembly as it is shown on page 3 there. So you should have the parts required, which is, I think that's from the solar panel. You can see the P3 part, the P5, that is, yeah, that's the motor.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's what they named there. From the white parts, the D21. D20 and D21 will be the casing for the gearbox. So at this stage, we need these 4 parts. Okay, you want to go and wait? So we have the parts that they're shown here, D20, D21, the bag with the solar panel casing and the gearbox casing, and we are doing the gearbox. And we have the motor and the part P3. So are you okay of taking the P3 and you slot it? Sorry, the people. Fantastic, you are doing very well. I managed to find how I can access the Zoom group chat while sharing my screen. That's a revelation for me. So we're putting the P3 inside the casing and we make sure the wheel is turning. Otherwise we're in trouble. And then we take, let's see if that's obvious in the next one. And then we take the gearbox. I'll go at the back. So we've done that and we test with our, if you wheel it with your finger, make sure the wheel is turning and nothing prevents it. And then for the next one, we are slotting where the page shows the motor. Make sure the cables are, that are not trapped. I think you need to make sure that the cables are not folded or twisted, and there are they are not left like when my daughter is using the hair dryer and everything, it's becoming curly. So at this stage, what we are doing, we're taking the other side of the gearbox. You can see it has a small hole here. I don't know how I can zoom it anymore. The plan is that we put the cables coming out of the motor through this small hole. Tom has done it already. So we should be with something like that before we click it. This is a bit fiddly. Make sure that you don't pull it, very hard, because that will makes us lose our connections with the motor. Are you managing, Tom? So I'll stop talking to help you concentrate. And when everything is in place, it just clicks together, doesn't it? If it doesn't click, you have to go and revisit. You want to go on the previous slide? Is it clicking?
It's not clicking.
Did you put it the right way?
Right.
Okay, so do not do what Tom is doing. Are the ears aligned? The little ears from the gearbox. So when everything is put in place, let's see. Let's see, that's it. And then you're hearing the clicking sound, which means we've done it correctly. So we leave our gearbox, which is assembled and clicked in place, aside, and we're going in the solar panel. So we need the other parts from the same bag, the white parts. Don't forget the little double-sided white stickers and the solar panel. So we should all have these 4 parts in front of us. And we are in page 5 on the instruction handbook, if it's easier to see it from there. So you open this part, we take this part of the casing. And you see the 2 little things that they were so small. Actually, I think they break in the middle, and there are 2 stickers, aren't they? And there where it helps, you have small hands because Tom makes them look tiny. So Tom is taking the rest of the parts out of the bag. You want to see which parts we need for here again. So we need this, I think, and the top of the casing. No, you need the top of the casing. Okay. So we have the bottom part and the 2 stickers that we separated. Now I'll go back. You see in my screen, these little bases here, that's where the stickers go. I don't know if I can use a pointer. I think I can have a laser pointer. So this place is here. That's where the stickers will go. Remember, it's double-sided, so take the protective film just from the one side, the one that you're going to be putting down. Okay, so it's here and here. So white on white, it doesn't do great for visual effects, but they should look something like that. The photo are not totally aligned, but the idea is that they want to keep the solar panel. So if you make them straight, it's fantastic. as long as they stay within this space. So at this stage now, we have the bottom part of the casing. We have the solar panel ready to go on. So you can see in the photo here, you take, which part it is? Do you need to take something from the bottom? I cannot see very well from here.
There's a sticker on the top of it.
Okay, so you can take the sticker at this stage, or you can, you know, slot it in place and remove the sticker later. So can you put the solar panel on the bottom part of the casing?
Mm-hmm.
So at this stage, we follow this. So where my pointer is, these are supposed to be the double-sided stickers. It's just here they look bigger than what they actually are. They don't fill the whole base. We did have a little board maneuver. Yes. So slot the solar panel in a way that these little legs where the laser pointer shows, they go through the holes. It is a quite tricky bit. You just need to be a little bit patient. Okay. So.
Be peeled.
Yes.
So that they can put the panel on.
Yes, sorry, I thought you mentioned that. Before you put the panel, remember the stickers were double-sided. Remove the side that we left the protective film. That's the beauty of doing things as I describe them, because you know it's the little details that sometimes they can make or break something. So that this way the solar panel is firmly in place, and putting the lid will secure its position. So it should look something like that on the photo. We have taken the top protective film of the double-sided sticker. The solar panel went through the holes, slotted in place, and we have removed the protective film from the top. And that's very important for the solar energy, for the photovoltaic part to work. Okay. Next one, we'll just put the top of the casing on board. Ideally, it should click in place. Oh, sorry, I just realized somebody was asking me to go over the wiring again. You want me to go back to the previous participants, Posede? I'm really sorry. Finding the chat box, it's a hit and miss with me. Before I move, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and make sure everybody's on the same page. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, do you want us to have a small break, because we have the gearbox assembled from what I see here. We have Tom struggling to click the solar box from what I see here. Is everybody on the same level? Yes, I know, Deborah, some parts are a little bit fiddly. That's why sometimes it helps. Hello, ladies. If we have nails, because I can see Tom struggling to take the casing off. You don't have nails either. So you've done the gearbox, that looks fantastic, and you're finalizing. Brilliant. Elizabeth, we caught you. How are you doing? Okay. Which
Hello? Hello, ma? Hello? Hello?
fantastic. Well done, you. Well done. So gearbox done, solar box. Tom is still struggling with his. So how are you doing? Don't put the man with the big fingers to do the fiddly things. They're not good with that. You know, can I say that I do like that you are bossing him around? I really like that. I like seeing the APWEN t-shirts.
Hello?
Hello, how are you doing? Gearbox done? Solar panel done?
I have a challenge with the gearbox. I need that step. I need the gearbox. The first step.
If you can start all over again.
Yepseni, I cannot hear you very well. Okay, look at that.
Can we go over the gearbox?
You want me to go back on the gearbox?
Yes, ma.
Okay, we'll just go back. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fantastic, some of you, brilliant. And as I said, you're just showing off, Deborah and him. You're just showing off. Fantastic. Okay. I'm going to share my. Look at them. Brilliant, brilliant. Make sure you know the cables, the connections are quite. They're not, you know, because they're toys. They are not very strong connections. Make sure they are not lifted by the cables, because then we have to tape them with insulating tape. Fantastic. Okay, what I'm going to do very quickly, I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to redo the gearbox because I understand somebody is struggling a little bit with the gearbox.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you so much. Fantastic, brilliant. You are in the right country for having solar toys. You are really showing off now, yes? Is it Imachte? I cannot even know if I pronounced it correctly, I apologize. So fantastic work. Okay. I said, I share my screen again.
No, I'm not sent to them yet.
It's not step from the old step.
Okay.
Let's go.
So,
oh, we need step one.
okay. Oh, sorry.
Can you see yourself? See yourself and pin.
So, we were here, yes? So what we need is this bag. So you've got your components from the solar casing and the gearbox. So for the gearbox assembly, you use the top and bottom part, yes? The little axle, if you pronounce it correctly.
Where is ready now? Where is this one from? I need a sticker. The
instructions booklet.
I'm hearing you guys. Are you serious? Wow. So this is the people, right?
Yeah.
So we have got this. Yeah.
So you do have this part, yes? There is only one axle, isn't another one?
This show we are ready.
Where is ready?
You're ready? You've done it?
Yeah.
Show us now.
Okay, that was, I haven't done anything. That's fantastic. Okay.
The extent we have done, Owere has done all that, all the steps.
Hello?
Hello?
So, yes, ma, I'm waiting. I want to repeat the gearbox.
Okay, the gearbox.
We've done the gearbox and the solar panel.
I think one of the teams
has done the gearbox and the solar panel.
The gearbox. And that was my...
Yes.
So I'll just go over very quick. Okay, just let me go over very quickly. Okay, for the team that they're still struggling a little bit with the gearbox, keep in mind that there are two gears.
We want to show our own too.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Okay. The two gears.
Ready.
Okay.
Maiduguri would like to show their own too.
Okay, let me just, I'll try and...
Yes, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Kanu would like to show their own. Kanu. Maiduguri, we're ready.
You are ready. So nobody's struggling with the gearbox. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Yes, I mean everybody's going with the same progress. So what I would say is like there are two gears. There is a P3 and the P2. So make sure you're using what is shown as P3. Yes, the P2 I think has only one. So the P3 is the one that has two little like two cogs next to each other. Okay, so I think if there was a team struggling with the gear, maybe that was the reason. So you see that's 1, 2. There is another one that has only one little cog. So it's P3 and P5. So what we are doing, I'll speak very quickly, and I'm sorry for the background noise. My son is having biscuits. The P3 goes into the casing. Okay, so it goes down in the direction that shows here. Then in this little part, we'll position the motor. The part is P5, so that slots there. Okay. And the next thing is we make sure the cables are untangled and don't pull them in case we lose our connections. And then we put them through the little hole on top of the gearbox lid, and that should, if everything goes smoothly, it should click in place. Okay, so the gearbox with the two cogs, motor in, the cable shows through the hole, the two cables through the holes of the lid, and then it should click in place. Okay, the final product should be like that. And as I understand, that was quite straightforward with the solar panel and the casing. We've done this thing. So everybody should have the gearbox and the solar panel. So that's, I think, where it should be by now. Okay, fantastic. So what we do, we attach the two loose ends of the gearbox. That is at the back of the solar panel. Let me just go one back. Okay, so we have the two completed parts, and you can, it's not on the photo here, but the other ends of the motor are getting connected at the back of the solar panel. It's a spring. What Tom is telling me, it's like you lift the spring. I think that's a two people's job perhaps. One lifts the spring, as Tom shows, and keep it lifted, and the other, ties or like turns around the wire around the metal element. So somebody, so the opening, and then the other element. I'll try and see if I can do it. I'll put Tom's screen. Stop, sir. on Spotlight if I find him. You've done it already. Some of you are natural. Okay, just a moment. So I don't know if you are all sharing, if you can all see, can you see your screen? So what I'm doing, okay, I'm going to move to help them. So we see the screen and then wrapping the wire around it. Okay, fantastic. Hello, Martha. So have we all done this part? Okay, we'll go back on the so everybody's okay. So we lift the spring and we wrap the end around the elements. Okay, so far? So if you know if the slides are not very clear, or you know what Tom is doing is not very clear, I know you will be consulting your instructions, and we're in page 6 of the instructions at the moment. So then we take this part. So we've done the gear, we've done the solar panel. If you go back to your little elements, we are taking parts from the bags B and D, or whatever you name them. Yes. So what I'm going to do, you want to go how far back? It's this one. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So we all have done that, yes? And now we're going to use the little arms and the body of the version of the robot we're working on. At this stage, if you decide to do one of the other ones, you will need to find the different parts. So all the parts that we have in our different bags or plates or components, they are for all the robots. So don't worry if we will not use them all with the final composition. Because that was one of my worries when I was taking apart and pulling together car engines. There were always some screws and part left over. And I shouldn't be saying that, with a duo in the background. So you have a part that looks like a little spanner. So we have kind of a body. Okay. And then 2 elements from one of the blue bags, and then what it looks like, 2 arms from bag D. Bag D is the one that has all the little fiddly parts. And I think it was the last one we cut. So it should look something like that. And this is actually the most fun part. Okay. So doesn't this part have at the back of it, the blue part? Okay. I think there is another part. I think you need to take the other blue part. You see this one here, the B15? Let me just use my pointer again. So I think it should be the B15 as well. Or it's part of the gearbox. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. So you click the arms on the side. You want to click the arms on the side? And then you click the little spanner looking part on what looks like a very long neck. Quite straightforward. Yes? then we go and take what it looks like D30 and D31 from our bag with the white parts, as at the one that we took the arms off. So I would say keep the white bag close by because we will need another part from there. So click these two oval shaped parts and attach them in what I can only describe as the front of the neck. These are quite small pieces, so, you know, as I said, if you've got small fingers, that would be ideal. This is a little bit of reminds us of, you know, the Lego, but the very, very fine parts that you need either to use nails or scissors. So it should look as something like that, as on the picture and as on the slide. Now, bring the gearbox close by with the solar panel, and you are trying to find from the bag B, which is the second blue bag we cut, the wheels, the two bigger wheels, the small wheel, and the thing with the lever. I cannot even know the scientific terminology for that. So make sure you select the right part and make sure you see it from sideways. It's what sideways looks like, a lever with a handle. Is it this one? It's the element B15. Is that it? So we're trying to find the element B15. Can I see the other parts? No, I think it's the other one. This one. Yeah, I think it's this one. But just if you turn it sideways on the camera, it's what is on the picture there, you see? So it's this part that Tom picked last, if you can see his screen. So again, the rest of the exercise is more like things clicking together in the right order. So what we do, we are going through the instruction pages now. You see, we've done this part, we've done the neck, the arms on the little body, and then we clicked the little oval shape that look like, I don't know if it's a strange part on the neck, a strange necklace or the head. And now we're taking the gearbox. I believe, you know, the first, you want to try and put the big wheels because the small wheels, yeah, as Tom was saying, you know, make sure there are no rough pieces. I think somewhere a small wheel has to go first. And that's for the other part, okay. See if you can click the big wheels on the side of the gearbox. And make sure the wheels are moving freely. Okay, I'm not really sure if somebody is struggling. So the next part is we take the small wheel and to attach it to what it looks like a handle of the other component.
We are done with that.
We are done.
We're done. We are done.
Okay. Here, one team is doing really well and way ahead.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So big wheels on the side of the gearbox, the little small wheel on the component with the handle. Yes?
From Oshobo Center, we are done.
We're done. Okay.
Amazing.
Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. You're just showing off and I cannot see you. So, okay, just bear with us. You are too good for us. So, you should all be in this stage. We're taking the solar panel. And yes, that should be that. So, you touch the little body on the wheels. Okay. So touch the little body on the wheels, okay? And then the solar panel on the top. Yes, but ladies, you're too fast for Tom. So, let me just try and escape. I don't know if it will work. When we did it, and then I'll stop sharing my screen and I will show your range, but it will be trickier if you are somewhere indoors. It needs sunlight, but we can, yes. So it's a very short video, and
their song break up till 7-8 p.m.
And that's the robot, you know. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen because I'm very, very curious what you are all been up to. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, it's a pity, you know, that we cannot see it working. Is there somewhere sunshine close to where you are?
No, it's raining.
Okay, is it raining?
Yes.
No. One day that we did solar robot, it's raining. Your robot looks fantastic, you know. We need to make sure it works when it's sunny. You know, promise you will send me a video. Yes?
Where is Danny?
Upside down! Upside down! That's the right way! Just remember, the solar panel needs to face up the way. Okay, let me see again. Fantastic. Brilliant. So if anybody, that is very, very nice. So, sunny day you've got in Nigeria, I'm expecting a lot of videos, yes? Ask Felicia is to have all the robots, you know, the ones that are close, and have a competition. So it will be like a competition of solar robots. Let me see, Bernadette. You do that. All we see is your arm. Fantastic. Well done, Account BNT. Okay. Okay. That looks good, Temitayo. Brilliant. What Tom told me, and I'll put it on the slide.
Yes, we are there too.
Fantastic, yes.
Please raise it up.
Brilliant. I think I'll put it on the slides. Yes? Has everybody finished? Well done. Well done. So, brilliant. Well done. Put that up there. Well done. Brilliant. Holy. Has to be sunlight. Did it work? That is brilliant, Polly. That is brilliant. It works better on sunlight, but that's as good as it gets. Well done. Well done. Okay. Somebody in Kano has sunlight. Usually you have to be outside, but that looks good. Well done, team. Well done, well done. So I will put my email address on the slides. I'm expecting videos of the robots in action. And as Tom mentioned, if you try the robot and it goes backwards, it means you need to reverse the little the green and white cables. So don't be worried. Okay, Queeness. Geraldine?
No, we didn't balance.
The meeting I told you I'm going to.
Corey, we cannot see you in action. Is anybody that they still have things that they're unfinished? Lisa, how did you go on?
You're not going to be here without eating something. Go on. Coordinator, I need water.
Because the solar panel is quite small and you know it's like something that it's a toy, the best result is when it's actually, you know, direct sunlight. And as I said, if it starts going backwards, you need to reverse the white and green cable. So, you know, if it goes forward, it's okay. If you want to showcase to the kids, you can reverse it. You know, you swap them over. And Madam President,
Yes.
I think you have to. I think they did fantastic. Oh my goodness! Single-handedly.
Well, there are two of us.
Okay, brilliant. So this is just one version. You see that
there are two of us.
Parts. So this is something, you know, that.
Your speaker. Try again. I said there are two of us.
Okay, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
I think for me that was almost part. What I had for the next part, sorry, Madam President, this is, you know, should I give everybody 5 minutes if they want to have a rest and then we reconvene? Do you want to give everybody a 5-minute break? Because it was quite intense, wasn't it? Okay. Fantastic, so many chapters, show fantastic work. So is anybody that is struggling by any chance and you know you need some help? I think you're all amazing.
Yeah.
And what I had for the next part is a short video. It's one of the series that called TEDx video to show the science behind how the photovoltaic
You can tell her that
Abeokuta and so on. Fantastic work. So what I'm going to do, and that will give you a time, you know, if you want to go and have a break, if you don't want to watch the video. I think all the slides will be sent to you, as I understand. So I'm going to share my screen, explain the science behind the photovoltaic. And as I said, Nigeria is doing really well. You've got a really high percentage of getting energy from nature. Either it's the wind, the solar power, the wave power, or something else. So bear a moment with me. So it was fantastic seeing everybody and very well done. As I said, I'm expecting a lot of videos of the solar robots in action when it's sunny. And I don't believe that it's sunny in Scotland and it's raining in Nigeria. It's like, next time we should check the weather forecast. So what you can do, you've got the different parts. You can reverse engineer, you can deconstruct the body of the robot, keep the gearbox, I think it's needed for most of them, and the solar panel connected, and you can make the different variations. You can see which one is, it's working better. So what I had here, and I'll try and see if it will work. I think it's a 4-minute video that explains how give me a moment to see if that will work from here. How solar panels work, and that's explaining to the kids the science. Oh, why this doesn't work. Bear with me. I will remove the link and I'll put it on YouTube. Give me a moment till I deal with my technical difficulties, and hopefully my connection will not. Sorry, it will be. We have to hear a few adverts, so I'm going to mute it. Skip ad. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen again. Stop share for a moment so I can share. We're almost done, so bear with me.
The Earth intercepts a lot of solar power, 173,000 terawatt. That's 10,000 times more power than the planet's population uses. So is it possible that one day the world could be completely reliant on solar energy? To answer that question, we first need to examine how solar panels convert solar energy to electrical energy. Solar panels are made up of smaller units called solar cells. The most common solar cell
So that was all from me. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you.
I will give them, you know, I will pass to the president or Posita that is taking over. And as I said, I think you will get the slides, and I will include my email address. I'm in LinkedIn if everybody wants to, you know, to connect after the events today, the workshop, or tomorrow. And if anybody of you is interested in solar energy or renewables, some of my colleagues, female engineers, they work with renewable companies. So if you want to have an informal chat or if you want some more experiments around this area, I'm happy to connect you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hivi. It's been a wonderful time. Please, can we?
Thank you, Dr. Evie.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Am I very clear? The feedback, or there's a feedback? Okay. So do we want to take one or two questions? Because I got some private messages from people that were having challenges during the robot phase. So we can take one or two, then we go to vote of thanks for this event. Can you signify with the raise hand icon if you have a question that you want her to talk about or any clarification you want to ask? Okay. So I know our facilitator is a wonderful facilitator, and she's been able to break down every session clearly. On that note, I would like to call on our General Secretary, Engineer Chinyere Iwebe. Who is raising? Someone is raising a hand. Okay. Can you please unmute Lillian Uzodiagu?
Good evening, everyone. Nice presentation, but I will have a little observation. I think while we are doing this, we should try and ensure if it's a chapter that goes under the sun, to ensure this thing moves. I think that's the idea.
Maybe we should do it again. It has to do with the initial connection. Yeah, books. Especially very for your covering, because we continue from there.
Hello, can you hear me now? Okay, mine is more of an observation. I think either one of the chapters should try and expose the solar to sunlight so it can move. So while we're trying to, the idea is to ensure this thing moves. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
So I want to know that this thing has been charged the program.
Ring now, ring.
All right, Dr. Evie, did you get that?
It wasn't very clear. I don't know if it was more than one person.
Please, can we mute ourselves if we're not speaking, please? Okay, so what she said is, so that we can have a complete cycle of what the robot is expected to do. That can any of the chapters take their robot outside where the panel can be exposed to sunlight and we will see a movement.
Yes, yes. As I said, because it's still a toy, you know, it's quite sophisticated. In case that it doesn't work, we have to check the connections, because you must have noticed the cables are very, very fine. As I said, the first time we did it, one of the cables kind of broken, you will see it. So we used, you know, like insulating tape to fix it, and it worked. And if it should work outside, but it should go forward. If it happens in flat surface, so, you know, avoid friction, avoid, you know, soil or earth. Perhaps you can try it on a, you know, we put a piece of wood and MDF or something, so make sure it's smooth and flat, so the friction, you know, will be minimized. And ideally it should go forward. In the odd case, it might go backwards, as that we reverse the green and the white cables, we just put them on the other side. So the idea is under sun, it should work. And that's why the solar. And you see, you know, a lot of, there are mobile chargers that they use solar panel, there are solar farms. So a lot of big companies, they're using the energy of the sun to power. So yes, that's the idea. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, thank you very much. On that note, I'd like to call on the General Secretary of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria. Oh, okay.
My hands has been up. Oh, my hands has been up.
My apologies, ma, my IPC. Please, can we take Engineer Rose Madaki, FNSC, and that ends the question session, please. Apologies, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, all. And thank you, Dr. V. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just get my microphone muted. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I've been on the wheel for a while. I didn't know the traffic was like this in Lagos. I just want to ask that after the pandemic, or after the COVID-19 pandemic, are we going to expect you physically in Nigeria to have a physical contact with you in terms of this training further? That's my question.
I think Felicia, as the lead project, should be better suited to answer that, because I understand the project that we've been working together, it has a completion date. But, you know, I hope, you know, based on the work that I've done with Felicia, with Oduba, with APWEN, this will not be the end because the project ends. I'm hoping, you know, we can continue this work to build this momentum. And I really, really want to come to Nigeria, because I was looking forward to that. It was the highlight of my year. But, you know, we all made plans because it's different in person, you know, it's different to have this dynamic. So I think, as I said, the project is in completion, and I think it has achieved much more than what it said it will do. We have the legacy with the workshops, so you will have, you know, the links. You have my contact details if there is something I can do to help in any way to the work that you are doing. And Rose, I'm hoping, you know, I will come and we will have similar conversations and workshops face to face. And I would love to meet some of the young girls that they go to the school there, and that the work that you are all doing and inspiring them. Thank you, Rose.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll call on Engineer Chinyere Iwegwe, FNSC, the General Secretary of our association, as she gives the vote of thanks.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr.
Evie Visa. Yeah. Thank you so much. We enjoyed it, and I'm sure all over the nation, or the 37 states of the nation, that we are able to get one or two things from this training or workshop. And we know that we'll do more. We've already done the second one, and I'm sure every other person in different groups they will be able to do this. So I don't want to waste much of our time. I want to say thank you for those of us that are still waiting for sunrise for it to work. Please wait. For those of us here, the sun is setting. We want to go. We say thank you, my president, ESCO members, past presidents, and all senior members have been able to make this work, and all participants, and especially the IPP. We thank you for the great work you've done and you're still doing. We want to say thank you, God bless, and see you tomorrow. Bye. We had fun. Thank you. Bye. From Abuja.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Yes, hello. Can you see that? Hello. Hello. You people are just gisting. They didn't work. It was on the screen. Continue and fix other parts. You were just there. Talking, gisting. No, you people should say, Mommy, wait. You do your work.
Training. Tomorrow's training. Spotlighting
Now, of course.
should be named.
If not for you, I would have gone. I would be annoyed.
We are using a device to spotlight the center. We should have it named as the center. Ikeja, Ikorodu, APWEN training tomorrow. Thank you very
Can
much.
I ask everybody?
How many groups, Lawani?
You will need to bring an empty tin can or something very light for one of the robots.
Okay.
Attention.
Double A battery, plastic bottles. Okay. Bye.
And I don't normally put on my.
Hello.
We are grateful. Thank you for giving us the opportunity. Yeah.
Fantastic. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock.
I'm wrapping Oka down here. I'm wrapping. Potaka people are dragging me. The Potaka people said no.
Can we all listen to the instruction from Dr. Evie before we sign out? I can understand the excitement in the house, but we need to get instruction for tomorrow's program. It is important, please.
Okay, as I was saying, we will need a small screwdriver for some of the experiments tomorrow. I had a lot of kits that I was planning to bring with me in my suitcase, but well, we didn't manage. So a small screwdriver, a double A battery, and a double A. It's not a very thin one. It's not a very fat one. And also because one of the robot is what they call a tin can robot. If you have an empty can or something that the robot can hold and it's round and it's not very heavy, bring one of the, your rubbish or something that it's a cylinder. So we need battery, screwdriver, an empty tin, usually from drinks is cheaper, And the other robot is what they call a doodling robot. And doodling is like drawing. So you will need some marker pens, you know, ideally not wooden. So you will need some marker pens. So a small, I think it's a flathead screwdriver that it's needed for tomorrow. And that it's, can I have one of the batteries? So this is, you know, I don't know how clear it is. It's what they call here a AA battery. And I said, I had all these things to bring with me. And it's a flathead screwdriver. And what I'm going to do for a, you know, because you will continue this work, I'm going to post the things that I had as supplies to bring with me to Felicia, so she can disseminate them at some point, hopefully, if we're allowed to, if they're not very heavy, because I had brought little kits of screwdrivers. So it's, I know that it was quite intense. You all did wonderfully. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock for part 2 of our workshops. Yes? Thank you for me and have a nice evening. Bosete, back to you for the final notes. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So I would say this, even when the vote of thanks has been given, I saw Tom just moving right behind your screen. Please tell him thank you. We appreciate his support and giving you all the time you need to be with us. We send our regards, our love from every female engineer in Nigeria to him. We appreciate him too. Thank you. So we'll take the second stanza of our national anthem as our closing prayer for this event. Oh, I can see another person showing here. Hello, hi. All right. So we'll take the second stanza as our closing prayer. Can you unmute everyone? Oh God of creation, direct and no guide us, Jesus, the right. To know. And living just the truth. Great sin to build.
Okay.
Peace.
Okay, bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We're having fun. We're having fun from Port Harcourt. And see people that are showing their own. Some seeds now.
Should have sacrificed that one day. APWEN has not called you when
Wind
so carry
barrier.
your gear, come and show.
Of course. Let me snap. Angel. Please come on. You and Kene, come. Princess, come on. Come and take a picture.
I'll just wait and see if Felicia's wait for you. And then we'll and the people are going. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
She studied civil engineering. So she's supposed to be an APWEN member. So she's joining APWEN today. Maybe she didn't know what she was. Okay, that direct that.
Want to start this? Okay, wait.
I'm leaving the meeting though.
Wait, let's do. Wait.
Well, they were going to die together.
Yeah?
Oh, this is come out tomorrow. Come out. Please, Olivia, please.
So that they don't spot any mistake. She doesn't have. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. I'm rapping properly. Have you seen it?
Remove the connection.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, do you need internet?
No, it has to show now.
This is it.
I should put my.
I'm waiting for.
How about all this?